Me a check one, check two.
Check one, check two.
Beautiful. Here we go in 3, 2. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am Austin the Stash. Joining me today for the week that was Melanie.
Just MelanieW.com.
Just MelanieW.com's own Melanie Wilkinson.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I know it's a mouthful. I get it.
No, it is. My tongue isn't quite working. The life of a father of a 2-year-old is catching up. But don't you worry. We've got it all covered.
You got it.
All the things that I've missed, you're about to tell me all about.
We had a few things happen this last week.
Fantastic.
Which is kind of impressive considering it's the holidays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing happens at this time that isn't family drama, it seems like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's all kinds of stories out there that aren't being told because nobody can talk about them.
Absolutely.
Correct.
But there are some things that are happening and getting done in York County.
And a good thing, too, about this time of year is it's kind of the time when people, departments, whatnot, do like their year-end recap.
Yeah.
Because when life is just going on, you don't think about, oh my gosh, all of that happened in 2024.
Sure.
So this last week, Sheree Foltz, you know Sheree.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's really funny. I don't know Sheree, and it's funny because I do a thing called York Chats every single Monday. Every single time Sheree has come on, I have been sick. My kid has been sick.
You've never actually...
Parker Siza has interviewed her every single time.
Really?
And I'm starting to think that it's a conspiracy that I've just never met her.
You're just not around.
It's the funniest
She's
thing.
A dynamo.
That's what I've heard. I've listened to the interviews, and she seems amazing.
She is, and she gets a lot done.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
She gets a lot done.
Yeah.
And so this last week, she came to the city council to do her year-end review for Parks and Recreation. Mm-hmm. You know, for a town this size, we have got a lot going on, and she oversees all these departments. So consider the fact that Parks and Rec includes the city auditorium, the community center, now the soccer fields. The city took that over this year. The ballpark complex, the family aquatic center, of course, Minks Park, Harrison Park, East Hill Park, Levitt Stadium.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff, and she's created. She's asked for, and the council has approved a lot of improvements.
Nice.
And there's been a lot of money spent on special projects to enhance the quality of life in York. So, and this is really kind of wild when she made the whole when you do a whole synopsis of what happened with Parks and Rec during this calendar year. It's kind of exhausting, but it's pretty cool.
All right.
So, the Palmer Museum.
Yeah.
It's located downtown York now. It used to be in the community center. And so it was a little controversial at the time, but it was one of the greatest things that they've ever done. They moved the museum collection to the downtown building, and then where the museum was in community center turned into Fun City.
Okay.
You need to take your child there sometime.
Okay, all right.
It's like an amusement park inside of a building.
Okay.
Since they've done that, the attendance and the membership to the community center has actually doubled.
Whoa.
It's doubled. But also, this year we had the return of the Palmer Museum, so they opened up the collection down there. The city took over the soccer complex. They put up new bleacher shade at the ballpark complex because people were
dying.
Like there's no shade. Well, it's a brand new complex, so there were no,
there's no foliage.
There was nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, so they put up all that shade, which has made a huge difference. They installed a new playground equipment at East Hill Park. All the tennis and pickleball courts were completely resurfaced. Of course, we had the $2 million project of putting in artificial turf at Levitt Stadium, which is incredible. Okay, so there's going to be a new playground installed at Harrison Park. We also got the splash pad at Harrison Park. And also the skate park, which is at Harrison, is getting a new addition right now. They're pouring think they were pouring cement yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So that's getting bigger, and people come from all over the state to do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to throw some statistics at you. Here's some numbers.
Okay, hit me.
All right. Our little museum had 1,302 visitors.
Wow.
And they didn't even open that thing until February of last year. Ballpark, 19 tournaments with 506 teams. Jeez. Now consider a lot of those come from out of town. Mm-hmm. So that's where all that surge in lodging tax has been coming from, because they're filling our hotels all the time. There were 37 local teams, 766 field usages, 1,065 games.
Jeez.
That's a lot of activity out at that ballpark complex. Okay. At the community center, 35,316 check-ins.
Ooh.
That's how many people walk through those doors to use the facilities, whether they were using the pool,
just
Fun
whatever.
City, weight room. Oh, and there's all new equipment going into the weight room this spring. They had 75 youth programs, and like I said, they doubled their usage. They had longer hours. Okay, let's go to the aquatic center. Guess how many kids, adults, whatever, walk through the doors?
Oh, I have no idea. I can't even put a
9,118.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then they're for the soccer field, they had 531 field usages with 56 local teams. So they've got a lot going on.
Yeah. Wow.
Now,
I just did some quick math because I was really interested.
Yeah.
We mentioned that 506 teams came for baseball.
Yes.
And this is saying every single team has 9 players, which is definitely that's the number of starters at the very least. And then say every single one of those 9 kids has 2 parents that come with. That's 9,108 people that came in for.
It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And was it last year they installed some RV pads for camping?
Yeah.
And people, why would people want to? Oh, yeah, people come bring their campers. I didn't write down the number of that, but that usage was
way up.
Really up. And so people bring their campers. They spend the whole weekend there while their kids are in tournaments. And then, of course, like I said, we fill up all the hotels. And so,
tell you what,
hats off to the Park and Rec department, because
they did some things this year. 2024, big year for Parks and Rec.
And so I think with this Harrison Park, they're getting rid of all that old dangerous equipment that we used to be safe for us to play on. With the screws sticking out and the rust and things that could hit you in the head and
I mean, how else
you climb
were you supposed
up
to get
on
an immune
stuff
system?
and you can fall on cement. It was okay back in the day, but it's not anymore.
Well,
so it's frowned upon.
Here's the thing: back in the day, people knew not to fall down. That's what.
Or somehow we didn't get hurt. I don't know.
I don't know.
But this should be the last playground equipment reinstall, refurbished to be up to today's standards.
Sure.
But I'm sure that Shuri will think of other things that will need to be improved along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
She even told him, I'll be back.
Nice.
I'll be back.
Yes.
Because they said, okay, this should do it now for a while. Yeah, I'll be back before you.
Sure.
Give me a little bit of time. Budget time, we'll see what she comes up with next.
That's awesome.
But the amount of things that have happened in York in that area is quite astounding.
And it's a real testament, not just that all of this stuff got done, it's in how quickly this stuff got done. Because, when you think about improvements to things, it costs money, it takes time, and you kind of expect red tape and stuff to kind of slow down these processes.
Well, what's really helped is that extra half-cent sales tax that we have, those LB 357 funds. Those are a lot of these projects were
thanks to that.
Yeah, paid for with this. So that influx of money pays off bonds, and then they pay off the bonds. They redo them. The sales tax keeps coming in, and they keep doing projects. So
very nice.
What that has done since it was instituted a few years ago has been pretty amazing. So
very nice. Now, something is happening with Minks Park. Speaking of Parks and Rec, Minks Park.
It's east of Minks Park.
Okay.
So this is kind of neat. Is it probably 20 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, the city, at that time, the city had different wells, water wells.
Okay.
Kind of just sprinkled all over town. When we started seeing really high nitrate levels. And they realized that they needed to find a place to have a well field, meaning a lot of wells in one area to feed the city, where they were pretty sure the nitrate levels and the plumes and the things in the aquifer would be safe for a long period of time. So the city bought quite a few acres of land, farm ground, out east of Minks Park, in that area up there. And there's wells out there with, buildings over them and things like that. But the intent was always to hold on to that land as the municipality, with the intent to sell it to developers to create more housing. And
gotcha.
as everybody knows, we need more housing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So this is exciting. So this last week, the council signed off on agreeing to sell off from some of that land, 20.7 acres, to a developer called Countryside Estates LLC. The sale price was $238,000, which is $11,500 an acre, which is that's good market price on that. And then the developer also has to pay $34,000 per lot. There's going to be 20 lots to install infrastructure because it's just farm ground right now.
Right.
So that said, the city will be working on that for a while with that developer to make sure the streets are done the way they want it. That they, the gas lines, the sewer, water, all of that. And the well field will still be protected, even though there's going to be housing over it. So that's a whole new housing area that we're going to see in York.
Very nice. Love to see it. I mean, York is growing and expanding.
It is, and
many ways.
that housing area keeps going farther and farther east all the time. So yeah. So
very interesting. I like it. I'm glad.
Well, I know, like Barry, the mayor, he had said, we've been sitting on this ground, for this purpose, and so, and he credited the York County Development Corporation for doing a lot of the legwork on helping work on this project with this developer. So I'm sure they'll be doing a little shovel dirt turning,
of course,
to celebrate it. There's a lot of planning that'll have to go on, but right now they've agreed to sell it, so the project's starting.
All right, project starting. Another project is about to start. This one for York University.
This is so neat.
Yeah,
this is really cool. So apparently, an anonymous donor. There's like
one person who knows.
Somebody knows.
Somebody knows, and it's probably them.
And I don't. And they haven't even given the dollar amount.
Okay.
I feel maybe there's no dollar amount yet because they're just going to build it, and whoever this is going to just pay for it. But they're going to create a new computer lab.
Okay.
At the college now. No, when we think computer labs, we think back to the old days of where. Yep. No, this is different. This is things. They have like a whole new science, computer science program at the college now, and they're going to be working in coding, data analysis, artificial intelligence.
Gasp!
I know, the scary AI, and then like cybersecurity projects, all kinds of things. And apparently, the interest has been so high that there's a little space that they had in Levitt Library. It just didn't cut it. So they're going to create this brand new state-of-the-art, cutting-edge computer lab in the Dean Sack Hall, and someone is paying the bill.
Is paying for
I
it.
have a feeling it's not going to be very cheap.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
But it's a new thing for the university, but it's also going to be very special in the fact that it's not just, like, when I was a kid, it was like, here's how you use a computer.
Right.
They're going to be doing some big stuff. And it'll get students ready for all kinds of different professions.
Yeah.
When they go out into the world after graduation. So that's going to be really neat to see what they do with it. But I don't know what it's going to look like, or
it'll be very interesting to see.
But I'll bet it'll come with a hefty
hefty price tag. I can imagine.
But it's that windfall of somebody must be somebody that really is interested in this field and knew the need.
Possibly an alum of the college.
I would assume they usually are.
Feels like it.
York University's alumni has always been very, very, very giving, and they don't forget being here,
that's something that I've always thought is interesting with, like, because I went to the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and I think of like the big colleges, I think the big universities and all that sort of stuff. It's really interesting that there are smaller colleges and universities like York University, because no one would say York University is a big college by any means,
right?
But they have these very passionate donors. They have these very passionate alums that come in and help bring them, like, jump the gap. And not only jump the gap, but jump in front of these big universities.
And they've been really much more progressive, I think, in the last 5 years than I've ever seen it. They've added different programs. They've increased their enrollment. But they really have a lot of new, exciting arenas of study that they didn't have before.
Sure. Yeah. Very interesting stuff. York University,
I know.
Much like the city of York, growing all the time.
I know it.
And okay. What's this about 240 dozen cookies?
Do you know what 240 dozen cookies looks like?
Oh, it looks like lunch.
And a bad stomachache.
It sounds like a good time.
Well, it's called the PEO Cookie Walk.
Okay.
Don't ask me what PEO stands for because
I won't.
I honestly, it just escaped me.
Oh no!
It's a group of women.
Okay.
They're a philanthropic group and they raise money for girls to have scholarships to go to college.
Great.
It's the whole
Awesome.
point of their existence.
Yeah.
So years ago, and the only reason I know this is because Marcia Schlegelmilch, who writes a weekly column for my site, she wrote kind of about the history. She's in the group. There was a lady named Betty Bell.
Betty Bell.
Betty Bell.
What a name. That sounds like a pro wrestling name.
And this
it really does.
Betty Bell does?
Betty Bell.
Well, Betty Bell started this cookie walk in her kitchen many years ago. Well, no, it doesn't fit in a kitchen anymore.
Well, I can't imagine.
It is one of the big Christmas events in New York now.
Really?
So each member of this PEO group, they each make 8 dozen cookies. They're all decorated. They're all different kinds. I mean, I don't even know how many different styles there were.
Yeah.
But that's 240 dozen. And then they let the public come in, and then you get a container for $8, and then you pick out however many dozen that you want. You can mix and match and do whatever. You can eat there.
Wow.
They do all kinds of things, but they have to have it in the senior center now because it's so many cookies.
Wow.
It's really neat.
That's awesome.
And then they raise money and then they give out their scholarships every spring, when the kids are graduating. But I just thought that was fun. It's like a Christmas thing again. We're all about Christmas in York.
It seems like it. Seems like York is big Christmas time.
So if you didn't go get if there's no excuse for you not having a cookie after 100%. This event was, there was a lot of people in there buying cookies. So
nice. I love it. That sounds great.
I know. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We've got one more week to go, right? 1 week, yeah.
It's the 11th, 12th, so we're 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks out.
Okay.
2 weeks out from the big day.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks out from New Year's.
And don't forget, the Saturday, or the Sunday, you know what it is.
The Heart of the Holidays Festival.
Yes.
I talked to Nancy Davidson on the show yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The stuff that they have planned.
Yeah.
So great. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah. So bundle up the kid.
That's right.
Come see Santa and the reindeer.
Come see Santa.
Okay.
All righty. Well, Melanie, thanks so much for coming by. JustMelanieW.com for all of your up-to-date news happening in York County. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you then.